Many people choose to move to Portugal for one specific reason. Actually two: taxes and weather. People think that it's summer all year long, but is it though? Let's find out. Here's what people imagine when moving to Portugal. It's winter, it's warm, it's summer all year round, but the reality can be a little bit different. One thing to remember, there's no such thing as a general winter climate in Portugal, because Portugal is big, and if you go up north, you can find snow and negative degrees, while in Lisbon, the climate is a bit milder. So during the day, in winter months, it's super comfortable around +10, +15 Celsius, and if you're coming from a country like Canada, for you, it's literally let's go to the beach kind of weather. And honestly, I'm a little bit sad because with the sun, I cannot wear my sweaters or my Timberlands or like warm jackets, because once you go uphill, you're gonna be sweating. Like you literally start like undressing, and the worst thing, you can get cold and you can get sick. But here's the thing, once the sun goes down, it gets really cold. Now it's end of October and the temperatures are around 12-14 Celsius during evening and night. But once we get to January, it's gonna be like +2, +3, +4 Celsius, which is quite chilly, I should say. And yeah, while the sun can be shining and it can be really warm and hot during the day, the wind is what makes a difference. And my favorite game during winter is the guessing game. Guess who is the local, guess who is the tourist. Because if you see people half naked wearing dresses and shorts and like t-shirts, British people came to visit Lisbon. And if you see a person like Miss Yulia in layers with like scarves and beanies and whatever, that's the local for sure. So you might be thinking, it's hot during the day and then it's cold during the night, so what do I wear? And first of all, it really depends on the time you leave your house, because if you go to the office, for example, early in the morning, it's still gonna be cold, and then you finish your job at like 5-6 p.m, it's gonna be already cold because the sun's gonna be going down and it's gonna get chilly. But the worst part about winters is if you leave your house around 5-6 p.m. when it's still sunny, but it's gonna get cold in an hour. Like, what do you wear? Every time I would dress up, put like layers and whatever, and then I'm gonna sweat. Or the next time I'm like, you know what, it's gonna be hot, and then I'm gonna be like inside, like blah blah blah, I'll be freezing my ass. So be careful. I would say get a jacket and then get like an extra scarf with you. Secondly, it comes up to how you can tolerate cold, and that's important. I know people who live here in Portugal, in Lisbon in particular, and they would wear shorts all winter round. And then you have me, who would wear like all the layers possible. Overall, I'm gonna say get a nice fall jacket. You don't need like, you know, Canada Goose kind of thing jacket for winter, but if you're gonna go to the ocean or somewhere like close to the water, you might want to wear that as well. But get a scarf, a beanie, and some warm socks. As babushka told me, your feet should always be in the warmth, because this is how your body stays warm. That's actually the thing. If you wear nice socks, you're gonna be good. The trickiest part about winters in Portugal is the temperature inside of your home. Because with outside temperatures, you kind of like, yeah, it's +10, I kind of know what it is. But then you get to your apartment and you're like, it's really cold. For me, it's super simple: warm socks, warm pajamas, and slippers, and you're gonna be fine. It also depends really on your apartment, because if your apartment gets enough sunlight, you'll be fine. For example, I'm filming this and the sun is like shining into my face, and I'm pretty sure the temperature in my apartment actually it is +24, because this is the sun side and outside is like, I don't know, 18 degrees. But if your apartment doesn't get enough sunlight, you're gonna be very cold, my friend. My bedroom is on the other side of the building, so in the shade side, and some days I would wake up to like +16 in the apartment. And our buildings category, like the electrical category, whatever it's called, it's not like the lowest, it's like one of the highest, but still the apartment will cool down during the night. And if you're coming from a country with central heating, with any kind of heating like Canada or like post-USSR countries, you'll be shocked because it's gonna be so freaking cold. I told you, I warned you, please be careful. But if you're coming from other countries in Europe where you don't get like central heating or whatever, you'll be fine. Like no heaters, whatever. One thing that nobody talks about winters in Portugal, you are constantly sick. Like every person I've talked to here in Lisbon, they were like, I've never been, you know, that sick in my life. When you have like heating or whatever. You know, like in, for example, Canada, you get flu once a season because, like, you know, weather's changing, blah, 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 I got a flu, I'm sick. Here, you constantly, like, your nose is running, you're coughing, and, like, it feels like the sickness never ends. And that actually might be due to mold, because mold is a big problem here in Portugal. Not in Portugal, but in countries where you have summer all year round. At least it's not snowing. I don't know about that. Your apartment can get moldy, and I've learned here in Portugal that you can be allergic to mold. Never heard about that before. When searching for an apartment, please check the walls if there are any signs of mold, like the black walls or whatever, even the smell. Like, you can tell if it's moldy in the apartment. Ask the neighbors, ask people who live there, like landlords, even though landlord's gonna tell you anything just to, like, you know, sign that lease. But just be careful, because when it's gonna be rainy in winter, your apartment's gonna be moldy as hell, and we don't want that. So how do you actually keep yourself warm during winters in Portugal? First of all, you can close windows and blinds. When I first moved to Portugal, I was shocked by the amount of closed blinds everywhere in the city, especially coming from Canada, where everything is open, you have those condo buildings, everyone can see each other. Here, everything is closed, and I'm like, that's weird. But then I learned that this is done to save the heat, or during summer months, the coolness in the apartment, and it kind of makes sense. But if you don't want to play this like close and opening game, you can always invest in things like electrical sheets. I've heard it's really big in countries like Portugal or Spain or whatever. I've never tried those, nothing to recommend here. You can buy heaters, dehumidifiers, and dehumidifier is really important. Again, if you don't want to get that mold, invest in a dehumidifier. And if you're planning to stay in Portugal long term, AC, because AC can cool your apartment down, warm it up, do many things, and you can actually set it up the way you go to bed. For example, you turn off all the heating, and let's say at 6 a.m. it's gonna turn on, and you're gonna wake up in the warm apartment, not to like plus 15 or 16. And another thing to mention is that it actually takes time to get used to the temperatures, because the first year we moved to Portugal, I think I froze to the bones because I was constantly like shaking. There is no heating, no nothing. I would like move the heater with me, like I go to the kitchen and take it with me because I was so freaking cold all the time. Last winter, like we would have people over and I would open all the windows because I was like, oh, it's getting hot in here. And my friends were like, Yulia, aren't you like cold? And I'm literally wearing like a t-shirt with shorts, opening all the windows. And everyone's like, okay. So yeah, it will take time to get used to the new temperatures, to the new climate. It's not gonna happen overnight for sure. And the best part for all the people who tell me that the ocean is super warm, like let's go for a swim. In winter, it's the same temperature, plus 17 all year round. So if you were telling me that it's super warm, you can swim in it, please, I invite you to go swim in January in the ocean, because the temperature is literally the same as during the summer. And this is it for today. I hope you've learned something new. If you move into Portugal, I wish you all the best. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it, subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any new content, and see you next week. Bye!